everyone. This is Angela, and you're listening to Homeschool Unrefined, the podcast where we keep homeschool simple, real, and fun.
And this is Maren. You've got episode 108, Personalities Deep Dive and Introduction. We are going to get to that in just a few minutes, but first, we just want to say hi and thank you so much for being here today. If you are a longtime listener, thank you so much for your support and just showing up every week and just being part of our community. And if you're new, thanks for trying us out.
Yeah.
We want to get to know you.
We would love to.
Yeah.
Just a little bit about our podcast. If you are new, we are here to encourage you to keep things simple, to not fall into that comparison game of comparing your homeschool or your style or your personality to other people who are homeschooling, which we can all do because we're all a little bit, or, you know, I'll speak for myself. I'm a little bit insecure doing this, and I for sure was in the beginning. And so, and you might feel like you don't know what you're doing. And so it is, you know, helpful to turn to other people for inspiration or advice. I mean, that's really helpful.
Yep. And just, we want you to grow in your self-confidence, and we want you to know deep in your heart that you're doing good things.
Yeah.
Just the way you are right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes. And a special hello to our Patreon supporters.
Yes.
If you are interested in supporting us on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/homeschoolunrefined. Patrons get extra bonus episodes each month and a community of people.
Yeah, and our $8 supporters do get that community and then also a 30-minute call with us, which is fun
and exciting.
We're real excited about that.
One more quick little big announcement. Maren is going to be speaking at the Minnesota Homeschoolers Alliance Convention. Conference, convention, something like that.
Say conference, I don't know.
And it is next week. It's April 15th.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's next week.
It's really coming up. So April 15th, I'm going to be doing two classes. One is called How Kids Learn Best, and then another class about personalities, actually, which we're gonna just touch on here today, but I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth there.
Yeah.
So
super exciting.
Yeah.
And you're having a little Homeschool Unrefined get together at Groundswell Coffee. Right in St. Paul, near where the conference is. Yep. So, and they've got great coffee and great breakfast. So 8 a.m., April 15th. Let me know if you're going to be there. If you plan to do this little meetup, or if you think you might be able to make it, message us or DM us or find an email.
You can email on our website.
homeschoolunrefined@gmail.com.
Yeah. Okay,
that's
easy.
You can email us or DM us or whatever. We'd love to know if you're going to be there. I'm sad to be missing out on that, but
I'm sad you're not going to be there.
Yeah.
Very sad, but I'm going to put on my big girl pants and do it on my own.
Oh, it's going to be fun. You're going to meet so many good people.
Super excited. Yeah. Definitely.
All right. So, Maren.
Yeah.
I know you have some new things going on in your life.
Yeah.
What's been going on with you recently?
Well, so we've undergone some renovations in our house. And mostly these are all the goal is to sell our house at some point, right? So we're doing these renovations that we've kind of been putting off for a long time, and now they're just all getting done.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just, it's a new season of homeschooling. It really is. And I just have to look at it like that. This is not like business as usual every day now.
Right.
So, not that it was always business as usual, but it's definitely not now. So we're just, we're taking it day by day kind of, and
because you're communicating with all these workers.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Your house is torn apart.
Yep.
And you're having to be flexible with your schedule, and all, right. A lot of us have been through renovations before, so we get that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, before all the renovations started, it was like a full-time job, almost just like organizing it all and getting it going.
Yeah.
That was So much work. And our house wasn't like a complete disaster like it is now, but I just felt like, wow, even then we couldn't homeschool like we had been in the past because I was really busy.
Yeah. Right.
Preparing for it.
So because I'm sure some people are curious, do you completely stop homeschooling, or
good question.
What does homeschool look like for you during that time?
Yeah. So right now we're still doing a little bit of stuff in the morning before people get there, before these work. But you know what? It cannot be like an intense like hour before everybody comes, before the workers come. It would just set the tone for like a really stressful day. So we're just doing a few things in the morning. So it's reading, chores, and breakfast. Those are the 3 things my kids need to do before workers come. And then they can kind of go off and do their own thing after that. And then really what I think I need to start doing is planning outings. And especially next week, because they're going to be up in our main area most of next week. So this week they're in the basement, so we can kind of, it's very loud, but we can get out of their way. Next week we're just gonna have to probably find museums or
luckily it's getting warmer out.
I was just gonna say it's so beautiful that I might get my kids out more. Well,
you have a good attitude about this.
I have to tell you though, now tell me what you think. Tell me if your kids are like this. When I do plan nature events, I feel like they complain until we get there. And we get there and it's so much fun.
Oh yeah, my kids complain about nature events for sure. I can't call it
a hike.
I have to call it like something really exciting. Like,
if I say we're going on a hike, 2 of my kids basically melt to the floor.
Oh, see, hike. Yeah, my kids don't like the word hike, but they also, more than that, hate the word walk.
Oh, even worse.
Sometimes I've made that mistake.
Sometimes I just say we're gonna wander,
or we're gonna get out.
Yes, or we're just gonna play. We're just gonna go find a place to play for a little while.
Find a place to play. That's a good one.
On a path in the woods.
Yeah, or if we're meeting friends, it's much more. It's super exciting. It went from, not fun to enjoable.
Oh, yes,
so I think that's the key.
Thing. I agree. Well, the other day it was over on the weekend, so Sean and I, we told our kids we're going out into nature today. Lots of complaining. We went out and they basically broke ice for like an hour.
Okay, yeah.
Because, we're at this stage in Minnesota where the ice is getting very thin, right? Just like on the side of the paths and the side of little ponds.
It's fun to break.
Stuff. So basically they broke ice for like an hour and it was the best time of their lives. They just had so much fun.
Yeah, right.
So
that's awesome. Good for you.
So anyway, back to home projects. I know you built a whole house. What was that like for you?
Well, gosh, you guys, if you go back in the archives of this podcast, you'll probably hear.
Seriously,
I don't even remember. That was so long ago.
We did process it a lot, though.
I'm sure we did. Oh my gosh, I am so glad though. Like, one of the reasons I wanted to build a house, I actually have never wanted to build a house. Like, because all the decision making is just too much for me.
Yeah,
but we did
for sure.
It's fatiguing. Yeah. But once we did, I was like, the awesome thing about this is like, we're going to have a new house. And so nothing's ever going to break. And so we're not going to have to like call people to come and fix stuff, which is kind of not true. Because when you build a new house, then that first year and a half is like getting them to come back and fix stuff that they didn't really do right. And so, we have to a little bit, but it's really great. It's mostly great because I'm not having to like, coordinate with all the people, which if I don't have to do any coordinating on the phone, I'm just so happy.
I know.
Can we just text each other from now on?
Can that just be a rule?
Yeah.
You have to text. No phone calls,
if you
please.
Can text.
Yes. First choice. So basically what we're saying is get a support system if you're doing house projects.
But you know what, Maren? You got to be prepared because moving is so stressful.
Yes, I know.
That was like my physical health was not good. My relationships were not good. all during that moving season,
Yep.
which of course I didn't think it was about moving at the time. Because it's not actually
Well,
about moving. It's like
Yes.
just the stress. You're so under high stress during that time. So
Totally.
everything else is
And
hard.
I tend to think I can do everything. I
Yeah.
tend to think I can handle all this. It's not a big deal. Like we've set up just like a storage area for a while so we can put stuff in there.
Yeah.
Like a public storage area. So I mean, the last time we moved, I just tried everything. I tried to move everything by myself and clean everything
You
by
did
myself.
too.
And
I can't believe you did
was, I can't either. And I did. I also just got physically sick.
Yeah.
During that time. I did. It was not good for me. And so I've already put up these kind of just boundaries.
Oh,
so
good for
like
you.
I told my husband, I am not going to go to the storage area at all during the week. Like that's going to be a weekend project so we can both like
Good
work
for
on
you.
that together, and you can do the actual like bringing stuff over or whatever.
Yeah.
I will help you like load stuff up in the car, but I'm not gonna like do all of it. Because in the past I would have been like, oh, I can just go bring a load over there anytime. And
I remember you were like, how old were your kids when you moved? Like young too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I can't remember. 7, 5, 5, and 3 maybe.
yeah.
Or
And
8.
I don't know what it is when you have young kids. I think because you're already working so hard, you're like, well, I can just work harder a little bit.
I'm already strung out. I'm already strung out.
Because now that my kids are older, I look back and I'm like, I cannot believe I did that stuff when I
No,
had
I
little
know.
kids. So anyways,
So
I
true.
remember
So
you
true.
like loading up your minivan
Yeah,
after
lot.
the kids were down in bed or whatever, and
I
like bringing
know.
loads over.
Why was I doing that?
Well, I mean, you kind of do what you have to do a little bit, but I just
Right. Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's so true.
It's just
true.
really taxing.
It is.
So you gotta
I'm
be prepared for
watching
that.
myself this time for
Yeah,
sure.
that's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we are doing a personality series, and this is the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
And we just wanted to tell you a little bit why this is interesting to us. You know, we've heard from some of you. A lot of you are into personalities. A lot of you aren't or haven't been in the past. And a lot of you, or some of you we've heard from, you know, say that you got into it because you're listening to us. So
Yeah.
yay, we love that.
Yep.
But this is just something we're personally very interested in. We have been talking about it with each other for like 20 years.
We really have. And especially some more than others. Some personality profiles more than others. But like, it's always been, I feel like, on the like just the forefront of our minds and our conversations. Like, how is personality affecting like this situation right now?
Yeah.
And what's happening right now?
Like homeschool, marriage, friendship, whatever it is. Because it does, you know, it affects everything. It's just a way to look at interactions with people. And so
Right.
we really enjoy it. It has really helped our relationships
Yes,
and
absolutely.
helped given us language for things that happen. And so we love it. And we've been kind of deep diving. We've been also deep diving and discussing for a few years some of
Definitely.
these. So
yeah, absolutely.
So we wanted to do a whole series. And so this is the first one. We are going to be doing other episodes in this series as well about some more, you know, we're going to get more specific about some of the frameworks. So we've done these before, but we're doing it again.
Yes. And we're going to go deeper this time.
Yep.
But just a heads up, we're doing this introduction class, and then we have a few episodes that aren't part of this series.
Right.
Because of Angela's travel schedule.
Yep.
We're doing a few other things, and then we're going to come back to
it. Right. So
keep your eyes out for that.
Right. And then also the other really fun thing is we're making these into classes. So we're going to give you a little snapshot taste
Exactly.
in the podcast, but then go much deeper in classes. So you can look for that in the future. I'd say in the next month or two, we'll probably have some classes ready that if you're interested, you can join.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So why don't we just start talking about why learning about personalities is helpful? And we can talk about in homeschool and just, I think, our lives too, because it's just so intertwined.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say for me, it has been very helpful to know what my strengths are and what my weaknesses are, or what I'm not that into. And including, and also all the people around me, like my husband and my kids and my friends and whatever, because then I can be more forgiving and more accepting of people for who they are, and not think that everybody needs to be like me, or everybody's priorities need to be the same as mine, or everybody's motivations need to be the same as mine. But I can be a bit more, even accepting isn't even the right word, or tolerant. It's more like celebrate. I can celebrate.
Yes, like go beyond just accepting.
Right.
Like you're like, yes, we need you.
We need you and your gifts.
Yes.
Just like we need mine. And how can they work together?
That is so great.
Yeah.
I think what has really revolutionized for me, personalities for me, is that I look at myself differently. I think I grew up not doing, I think I'm smart, so I did well in school. I did well in school. But I have to say, with my personality types, like school wasn't ideal for me. You know, I could tell something was just like off kind of from the beginning. Like it wasn't my favorite way of learning ever. And I always felt bad about that. I always felt like, why can't I enjoy this as much as other people? Or why can't I just like, you know, whip out some amazing work like so many of my other friends? Why am I not reading like my other friends? Or, you know, there were just, why can't I do this like my whole life? And I think learning about personalities has given me the self-confidence to say, listen, I am actually very good at so many things that I never thought I was good at, or maybe I knew I was good at those things, but I am realizing those things are valuable. They're valuable and they're important to the world. And so I'm learning how to use those gifts in like a helpful way for the world, you know, and for myself. And so like I have now the confidence to say, listen, I have something to share. And I never felt that way, you know, before I really learned about personalities.
Well, and that's amazing, because I think, unfortunately, in the traditional culture of, you know, school and college and, you know, work or whatever, we're taught, you know, that a certain thing is valuable. Certain personality traits or work styles are valuable and the right way to do things. Like if you want to be successful, you do these things.
Right.
And so it takes a lot of unlearning. And I think that is so too bad. I mean, that is just sad. That is too bad. That is too bad, because there's so many people with so many great gifts. And they aren't recognized in this culture that we live in.
Right.
Yeah.
Like somebody, so right.
Somebody might be really good at like art and music or something like that. Those aren't big money makers in our culture.
So people don't push them, or
so it's not pushed and it's not valued. Whereas I think in other cultures it is, but in our culture it's like, you know, being organized and
making
having goals,
right. Writing an organized paper is really important in school.
Following directions.
And that's the kind of stuff I wasn't super great at.
Right. And that's sad. I mean, I'm really happy for you that you've figured it out now, but I feel I feel bad for all the people who haven't or who are still in that, you know?
Well, and I just think I've just met so many brilliant people who have the same story. You know, about growing up and even in work, you know, just like brilliant, amazing people. And I just think, wouldn't it be a different world if we all, at a young age, celebrated and really like flourished in the things we loved, like from a young age.
Right.
How exciting would that be? You know?
And that's, you know, part of the reason I'm homeschooling is because I want to give my kids those opportunities, and I try hard. I'm still in this culture and influenced by the culture, and so it's not, you know, it's not,
totally.
I'm not great at it, but I still try really hard.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And I think as homeschoolers, we do have that advantage a little bit.
We do. And yet I think as homeschoolers, we've also, like you said, we've grown up in probably with a different, outlook, on learning and, and personalities. And so it takes a lot of dedication. I think it takes like very conscious decisions to do it differently.
Yeah.
Even though
it takes a lot of bravery to step out and
totally
be confident in the way you're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you're using your gifts. It takes a lot of bravery. It really does.
Yeah, so true. I also think learning about personalities has given me language to talk through this kind of stuff about myself and with my kids and with my husband. Knowing about my personality and my husband's personality has greatly improved our relationship.
Yeah.
We're using this language instead of like shaming.
Yeah.
I think it can be very easily like, I think disagreements can turn into shaming. Like, I need you to do it this way. No, I'm not doing it that way. And then it's like, there's just,
why can't you be more
right.
Fill in the blank.
Right. Yeah. And I just think reading books on the Myers-Briggs or the Enneagram or all the, so many things. Oh, highly sensitive people too. We'll talk about this later, but like reading those things, just, it helps me understand why people are the way they are.
Right. Right. It removes the shame because it legitimizes your motivations for doing certain things, legitimizes the way you are.
Sure. Exactly.
And I think some people think that people can use it as an excuse, and I just haven't found that. I found that it's really a helpful way to grow. I feel like so much growth is possible once you know where you're starting, because you can enhance your strengths,
so true.
and work from your strengths.
And I think sometimes we can blame other people for that it's more of a nature thing or like a nurture thing. Nurture versus nature is what I'm thinking of right now. Like we think of it as an environmental thing. Like you're just like that because your parents or because of whatever. Blame it on something that happened to you or whatever. But really, like when I learn about personalities too, I think this is so much ingrained in who I am, and nothing my parents could have done could have changed who I am as a person. Like
right.
They could obviously, my parents could and they did, like, definitely find my strengths and help me with those and things like that and celebrate those things, but we can't like change my strengths. I can't change my strengths necessarily.
Right. So we might as well celebrate them instead of trying to like push them down.
Yes.
And make you be somebody else.
Right. And that's why I feel like this has transformed my homeschool too.
Yeah.
Because ideally, I like the idea of being very efficient with my time, with our work time. So like, ideally, I think I would like to get work done when it's time to get work done, and get the most information in the smallest amount of time. But that is just like not how my kids work, because a lot of that curriculum is just not ideal for them.
So you ideally would like that. You're saying you would like that.
I like the idea of being very efficient with learning and just like doing it and being done. Like, could we have like, you do this workbook? I mean, I don't think this is ideal, obviously, because my personality is not like this. But I think, if we were all robots and we could all just like sit down and learn these things and input them and get it done with, great. I mean, how quick and easy would learning be?
Yeah.
But that's just not how we are as human beings.
Right.
Some kids need to work at a table and get things done on paper. Some kids need to talk about them for an hour and then not write anything down sometimes. Some kids need to get out and feel the things and do the things and whatever, or it's just, there's just so many different personalities out there that we cannot just, there's no one simple, easy way to do this.
Right.
Homeschooling.
Right.
And when you know about your kids' personalities, I don't know that we ever need to label them with their whatever, the Myers-Briggs or Enneagram. You don't even need to put those letters or numbers on them right now, probably. But just learning about them and how, they may be seeing tendencies towards this thing, this number, this whatever. You can compensate for that and you can make it better for them and for you.
Right. The first way we like to kind of dip our toes into learning about personalities is to talk about introverts and extroverts.
Yeah.
And I think this one is, while it seems simple, it is so powerful.
It is.
This has been the most powerful, just knowing the introvert, extrovert, and I will just say, like, between my husband and I, but even like among friends and like thinking about my children and what they might possibly be, it has been the most powerful framework from which to appreciate each other.
I agree with you.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, for sure. I think because, well, first of all, I think there's a lot of myths about it and like misconceptions. So we should get into that. But like really understanding what an extrovert and an introvert needs in this world it's mind blowing to like change your expectations, I think, of yourself or someone else.
Right. And I think it's go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, and it's also mind blowing the results that happen after you've respected those needs and
for sure.
You've honored those things in a person changes everything.
For sure. And I think as homeschoolers, this is especially important because you are probably home most of the day with kids most of the day, and your spouse might not be. And so I think there needs to be lots of communication and dialogue about how we are going to get people's needs met with this lifestyle.
Yeah, it's so true. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. It's like, like learning about these personalities it's not a cure-all. It's like, oh, now we know the personalities. Everything's going to be beautiful and perfect after this. No, now you just have like the right tools to put everything together. But it does take work even after knowing this kind of stuff.
Right.
For example, like I am an extrovert. And my kids are kind of a combination of extroverts and introverts, and my husband is an introvert. Now he right now with his job, he's talking with people all day long.
Yeah.
So, like we are trying to figure out, as an extrovert, what do I need when he comes home? And as an introvert, what does he need when he comes home? And it's not simple or easy.
No.
But we do have the information and tools.
Right.
To figure it out.
Right.
From Myers-Briggs.org, they talk about how extroverts orient their energy to the outer world, while introverts orient their energy to the inner world.
Right.
And now that doesn't mean that's all they do. They don't, extroverts do not only live in the outer world, and introverts do not only live in the inner world. And it's not the only place they can be happy. We actually both have both functions. We all have both functions.
Right.
One just supersedes the other, and sometimes it's only by a little bit.
Right. One is just maybe sometimes a little bit more dominant, but we do all have both, and we are able to access and use both of them.
Right. Yeah, and I know you always tell people, and I think this is so key. An introvert, you may not think an introvert is actually an introvert, because when you see them, they're extroverting.
Right. So anytime you are, now probably not your spouse or like a really good friend, but any, somebody, you're seeing in public or any kind of acquaintance or even a friend, you are showing your extroverted side to them. Yes. And that might be your second function. That might be your little bit inferior function. And so, because I get this a lot from people, like people think I'm an extrovert because when I talk to them, I'm friendly and animated. or I ask about them, or I don't know what it is. Like I seem engaging when I talk to people, and I say, well, that is, I'm showing you're not seeing my introverted side, because I'm like engaging in the outer world right now.
Yes. Yes. And I think and we will go into this more into the when we talk about Myers-Briggs, but definitely your Myers-Briggs type is very much about like harmony, having harmony in relationships. And so that may come out, it may look to the world like that's extrovert, know, that you're an extrovert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one thing I wanted to say though is a lot of times people think extroverts are people. They're a people person. They like going to parties and like talking to people and stuff like that. And I think that can sometimes be true, but it can also be true for introverts. But more, it's just being in the outer world. So sometimes that's traveling. Sometimes that's nature. Sometimes that's just like getting out of the house.
Right.
My husband Jeremy is an extrovert, and we didn't figure this out until like a year or two ago. And it was a real aha moment, because he's not a typical people person. He doesn't love going to parties or having lots of friends around all the time. But like on the weekends, he needs to get out of the house like a lot. That is his sweet spot. And once I learned that, it was really freeing, because I felt like, oh, this is just who he is. He needs to he needs to go like out to eat or go to Target or run an errand. I mean, something like that. He just needs to get out. Whereas me, I could be content with just like reading or watching a movie or something like that all day.
Sure.
Right?
Yep, totally.
And so I don't think he looks like a typical, well, not typical, but what we would normally think of as an extrovert.
Right, because it's not that he is always gathering people together.
Right.
For some sort of event or
right.
And so a lot of extroverts really are into just doing things without people.
Yeah.
They're extroverting without people.
But they're in the world.
They're in the world.
And
I have a daughter like this too.
Do you?
Who's really just very much out in the world kind of a person. Mm-hmm. Doesn't always need to be around people.
Mm-hmm. Right. Another thing is introverts aren't always quiet. They're not always reserved or shy.
Right.
They might just be in their head a lot, thinking a lot of things about, processing things in their head a lot of the time. Right. And that's just maybe their sweet spot. That's just they're a little bit more dominant than their extroverted side. And so they can still be like enjoy being around friends and, and like talking to people, like learning about people, but really they live more in their inner world.
Absolutely. I know a lot of introverts who plan a lot of events, like for get-togethers. Love planning get-togethers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't do that as an extrovert.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that at all.
Yeah.
And that really has, we will definitely go into that more in the Myers-Briggs episode, and then even deeper into when we do the Myers-Briggs class, because there's so many layers about why that happens.
Yeah. It's actually really
but just know that like what you see on the outside of somebody, you can't always tell. You can't always tell.
Right.
All right, so let's just kind of go through the personality profiles that we are going to dive into in this series, Angela.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll just say a little bit about each one.
Yeah, great.
All right, so we've talked a little bit about the Myers-Briggs. Do you want to say anything else about that?
Okay, this was my first love.
Yeah.
And the thing I immersed myself in for probably the first 15 years of my personality studies.
Yes.
And I'm not sure why that is. I still find it fascinating. There's still
more to learn.
There's still so much to learn. There's still so much to learn. And I think, there are 16 different personality types in the Myers-Briggs. And so learning about diving deep into that is just fascinating. It's not complete for me. Yeah. It's not a complete picture. And so that's why I like going into some of the other types too.
Yeah, and I think none of them are. None of them are a complete picture of who you are as a person.
No, that's true.
It's nice to get snapshots of each of these, or or even dive deep into each of these profiles, because it gives you a more complete picture of yourself, but you'll probably, even all of them together might not be
right
everything you want to know about yourself, you know.
Right.
But yeah, Myers-Briggs was really the one where I just felt like, oh yeah, this is who I am. Like, this isn't just me, you know, being rebellious or lazy or you know, unfocused. There's like a lot of us out there. We're all
right.
as an ENFP. I mean, I was just, you know, learning about that and really diving in. I just felt like very much validated.
Yeah. Yes.
That I am who I am.
Right.
In so many
I can
ways.
see that.
Yeah,
Definitely. The Enneagram is kind of my newest love. My second love. And I love the Enneagram so much because, you know, there's 9 different numbers. I love it because it really gets at your motivations for doing things.
Yeah.
Which the Myers-Briggs doesn't really. Just talks about like what you do.
Yeah.
The Enneagram gets at your motivations because there might be two different people might do the same thing, but for different reasons.
Right.
So that's really interesting. I also love it because there are levels of health and growth. And you may display those at different times in the day or at different seasons in your life. So there's always room for growth. So like I can recognize when I'm acting a certain way that it may be an unhealthy response to something.
Right.
And it gives me language for what I'm doing. And a healthy response would look like this.
I love the Enneagram because that's where, you know, when we were talking earlier about how learning about these personality profiles takes away the shame of your weaknesses even.
Yep. That's
how I feel, especially with the Enneagram. Like it really does lay out there your weaknesses. Yeah. But there's no shame in it. It's there. Everyone has a point of growth and a way that they can grow. And I feel like it's just more focused growth. There's ways to grow in a very focused way. You don't have to work on everything in your life, you know, necessarily. There's just like a few things that like your type might not see or may need to learn about or something, you know.
And I think for some people that is when they discover their type, is when they see that like unhealthy part of the type or behavior in the area of growth. They can go, oh, I do that, and they recognize themselves in that.
Yes.
But it can also be really uncomfortable because you're like, someone's seeing you.
Yeah.
So true.
But just being able to identify with a number was helpful to me, even the good and the bad about it. I just feel like I will take it all because it is me and I feel seen and known.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that felt good to me. Another pretty recent one that we've been working on, what we've really talked through a lot in the last couple of years, Angela, is the 4 Tendencies. And this was developed by Gretchen Rubin. And I feel like, it's so good. I mean, the 4 Tendencies are just another whole perspective, another way to look at yourself. So the 4 Tendencies goes into how you meet expectations. And so this is more, I would say, you know, of how you act, you know, sometimes, or, you know, what people see in you. Yeah. More than like
it could be outer behaviors.
Right. It could be more outer behaviors. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
And with the 4 Tendencies, what's nice about this, I think, is that there are only 4.
Yeah.
So
right.
Relatively easy to see where you fit and where people around you fit. And so it's easy to implement right away, I feel like. And it gives you lots of information. It talks about like, you know, what you need to meet expectations or what expectations you're likely to meet or not to meet.
Right.
And that is really helpful.
I think this is really helpful for knowing your kids. We do not want to put our kids in a box and like keep them there, but it does very much help me know how to interact with my kids and get them to meet expectations. Because as a parent, you know, the parent-child relationship can be fraught with this, you know,
especially homeschooling.
Oh, especially homeschooling. It's like
Yeah.
all day it could be a fight. Knowing the 4 tendencies has been so helpful in that way for me.
And the last one that we are going to deep dive into is highly sensitive people.
Mm-hmm.
So highly sensitive people, this is not really a personality framework. It's more of a, what would you call it? Like just there's a certain percentage of the population who is highly sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
So like 20% or 15% or something like that.
I think it's like how they intake the world.
Right. So
they intake it like everything.
Right.
And it's hard to filter things out maybe.
Right. Well, it's I think it's a lot of stimuli.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how you kind of react to stimuli.
Yeah.
And it's just really helpful to know if you are highly sensitive, or if one of your kids is highly sensitive, or one of your spouse is highly sensitive, because like we said earlier, it can take away that shame of feeling like you should be able to handle certain things,
right,
but you're not handling them well.
Absolutely.
I am highly sensitive, and knowing this has been so helpful, and being able to communicate to my family, like, listen, I'm highly sensitive. I can't handle like noise, someone talking to me, someone tapping on me at the same time.
I can definitely see this as a plus for knowing this about you or your kids for homeschool too.
Yeah.
Just your environment. You can change the environment so easily.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a thing that, you know, it's just something you can do. I mean,
right.
it doesn't have to be complicated or anything. It's just,
right.
So yeah, for sure.
So we have done episodes on all of these, and I think we will put those in the show notes if you're interested. But know that we're going to go a little bit deeper into each one of these. And, you know, since we've recorded those episodes, which some have been like 2.5 years ago even, we've learned more. And so we want to share new things that we've learned. So, but feel free to go back while you're waiting to listen to those episodes.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to loving this week.
Yes. Angela, what are you loving this week?
All right, I have got a water bottle this week. And I know, Maren, you talked about your favorite water bottle a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago. Mine is a little bit different.
Rivalry water bottles?
Well, okay, maybe. I mean, I love mine so much. So
let's hear about it.
I have been looking for a water bottle that fits lots of water, but fits into my cup holder in my car.
It is hard to
It's
find.
like impossible.
Yeah.
And so that's what this is. So I have a Hydro Flask. I had a Hydro Flask for like 3 years. I loved it. It doesn't fit into the cup holder in my car, so it's always like knocking over and stuff like that. So I like the Hydro Flask. I wanted something skinnier and taller.
Yes.
So I have the Hydro Flask 24 ounces, which I like.
Nice.
Because also what I like about it, so it's tall and skinny, it fits into the cup holder, and I can drink 3 of them and then be done with my water bottle drinking for the day. So I know, like, fill it up 3 times and I'm done.
Good.
So I love it so much. And I know it's going to last me a while because Hydro Flasks last a while. The other thing I've paired with it that I'm loving is a topper. So I decided, because like I've been trying to do toppers that you have to screw off and take a drink, or like, I don't know, it has to be super accessible for me to take a drink. And I like straws because I have really sensitive teeth. And so I decided I'm going to have to do the straw. I had been resisting the straw because I thought, well, I'm going to have to clean that a lot. But I was like, no, I need to do the straw.
Just do it.
So I found a straw like mouth that's compatible with this one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called the Coldest Water. That's the brand name. The Coldest Water, insulated, standard, mouse size, whatever, straw with a lid. I will put that in the show notes too.
Oh my goodness.
So I put those together.
So it's not a Hydro Flask.
No.
Hydro Flask top.
Hydro Flask did not have a straw top to fit into this one.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I have one on mine. But I might have, I think I have a smaller bottle.
Yeah, there's different bottle sizes.
Yeah,
and for this bottle, they didn't have one. So I bought this.
Man.
And I like it so much. I bought a few.
I'm so happy for you because finding a good water bottle it's an enigma. It's like like the thing that I feel like I've strived for so long. It's just
I mean, I had been drinking out of like a glass mason jar with a straw in it and carrying that thing around. It tips over. You know, it's glass, so it's just a matter of time before I'm going to drop it and it breaks.
Yes.
I want something to fit into my backpack, the side pocket.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
seriously, come on.
And not fall out.
Please.
So this one meets all my requirements.
I'm so happy for you. It's so interesting because I actually had a straw. I've used my Hydro Flask also for a long time with the straw topper.
Yep.
That you suck. I didn't like it because I like to gulp my water.
Yeah.
Like when I want to drink water, I just want to
You want to go, you want a lot.
I want a lot in a little amount of time and I just want to chug it.
I know.
Straws just doesn't get in my mouth fast enough.
No, I know what you mean. So this is what I do a little bit. I unscrew it just a little bit.
Okay.
Because then when air gets in there, then more comes out. When you suck it up, more comes out.
That's so great.
You want more to come out. Unscrew your topper a little bit.
This is weird having a deep dive about water bottles today, too.
It's important. It's important. So anyway,
important work.
What are you loving this week, Maren?
I am loving an album. And actually, I'm just going to admit, I've been loving this for a long time, but I just have to share it with you now.
Okay.
It's an album by Maggie Rogers.
Oh, yeah.
Heard It in a Past Life.
Uh-huh.
It's such a great album. And she's just this great up-and-coming artist. I love the music because it's kind of chill music. A little bit like, I don't know. It's something I could just have in the background. But it also feels very new and up to date. It's not like old-fashioned chill music or, relaxed music. It's just, it definitely has this electronic beat. And yet, like, super easy to listen to all the time. And her voice is so smooth and just, you can feel her exuding, like, her songs. Just, her feelings. And I just love it. So
I like her story. Do you know her story?
Maybe a little. Tell me what
I know. I don't know her. I just know her story about how Pharrell was in her college class.
Oh yeah.
And she played a song and then he I don't know. I'm going to get this wrong. He signed her.
Yeah.
Like right away after hearing her in college.
I don't think she even wanted to do it. She didn't want to volunteer for whatever it was and she did it. And then he heard her and then he's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So she's kind of I don't want to say overnight sensation because I'm sure she's worked hard for a long time, I'm sure. But she's kind of exploded.
But this is her opportunity. And then she was on Saturday Night Live maybe 6 months ago.
Yeah, right.
And everybody found out about her. Barely anybody knew her really, I don't think, before she was on SNL.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because SNL I think always plays super big people. But anyway, she was on and then everybody found out about her. So that was awesome too.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for listening. You can find links to everything that we talked about in show notes on our website, which is homeschoolunrefined.com. They're also in your podcast app. So if you just swipe right or scroll down or something, you'll be able to see links to everything that we talked about. We are on social media and we'd love to hang out with you there. We're at Homeschool Unrefined on Facebook and Instagram. And we do have a closed Facebook group we'd love to have you join called Unrefined Homeschoolers, where we can talk about homeschooling and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we will see you next time.
Thanks for listening.
Homeschool Unrefined is created and produced by Maren Gorse and Angela Sizer. Ethan Miller is our editor, and Amanda Ginn is our VP of all the important things.